Hey there, UB fans. If you're wondering why we're a little bit late starting tonight, we were aiming for 10 o'clock. It's because we had to figure out another way to spend 60 minutes saying, wow, it sucks to lose. Because it's getting kind of old. At 1-5 with a victory over Army, a loss to FCS, and an 0-2 MAC record, it's hard to see this season getting much more painful.
Are we only 0-2 in the MAC?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're only Ball
We
State.
still have 6 games left?
Yes, we have.
You have a random man over the comments going, "Hey, we could still win the MAC."
I got to be honest that I know that I'm a week late on this, but the Kent State game was the first game since 2005 that I have not seen a single snap of.
Woo.
I haven't watched a single highlight. I don't know what happened at all.
Kent State.
Kent State.
Kent.
Oh, Kent.
Yeah. And so
well, the envy of a lot of people.
We still have 6 games left in this godforsaken season.
Yeah, we're halfway, man.
I have more things to say about Ball State, but I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
So it's a glass half empty that we still have 6 more games, a glass half full, or throw the glass into that burning dumpster over there. That's kind of what we're looking at. And
I can't have a burning dumpster because I live next to a fire station.
For me, once I accept, I'm at the acceptance phase here. I'm not at any kind of bargaining. I think Brandon Man's at the bargaining phase of how we can win the MAC. I'm going to skip that phase altogether. I've accepted that we are probably going to win no more than 3 games this season. And 3 games would be a big victory. Don't get me wrong. Just the MAC. Stuff can happen. We got Miami. I think we match up decent with them. And I think we can surprise anybody in the conference outside of Western Michigan, who I think will pick their teeth with their bones. Especially if they're at that point playing for an undefeated season. I think is that the last game or second to last?
Second to last. Then we play Bowling Green.
Yeah. If Western Michigan's playing for the bye, in which with Houston losing is now a possibility, because Houston lost, Navy's in their division, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, they might be the other division. They're same conference. I don't know about division.
Okay, because they're in the same division. If Navy wins out, regardless of what Houston does now, Houston cannot be the play-in team because they won't win their conference. So they won't even get to the championship game. But anyways, so as I say, 3 wins is the most we'll possibly have. This is the worst season since 2008, and I've accepted that. And what I'm doing now is I'm looking for little things. And the one thing Ball State provided was a lot of little things I liked. And a lot of things I hated. And we were talking offline about the game that could have been if the officials hadn't completely gone. I'm trying to think of a swear word here, a non-curse word for this, but I really can't, so I'll skip it together. If the officials had done their jobs and not on back-to-back series completely wrecked the game by taking away a touchdown from UB and giving a touchdown to Ball State, we could have won that. That's not an excuse. That was early enough in the game. We should have come back. But I saw a lot of improvement. So kind of we're just going to shoot around about what we want to see the rest of the season, what we expect to see the rest of the season. And I'm not going to lie, we'll probably get into what we're going to talk about, what we want to see happen in the offseason. And that would probably be some coaching staff changes. So, Matt, you did see the Ball State game. You didn't get to miss that like you did the Kent State game. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, the Ball State game has me upset because I saw some things that I've been asking for. And then I saw some things either that I did expect and I'm still disappointed by, or some things that I didn't expect and I'm disappointed that they've become an issue. Offense in the first half was quite good, to the point that the defense has no excuse for falling apart like it did in the second half, in my mind. In games past in the Leipold era, we've been willing to say, if the offense doesn't help the defense out, at some point they're going to break. And against Army, they didn't. And, against Bowling Green last year, they did. Things like that. The offense had some drives in the first half. And the defense, I really think the second half, the defense let us down.
Wait, losing Matt, or is Matt just phased out for a second? There he is. All right, we lost Matt. All right, so Robbie, Matt brought up a good point before he popped off. Hopefully he'll come back in. And I had the same thought. A lot of people. Matt, you there?
Just
Oh no.
Okay. Anyway, so Robbie, we'll continue. Matt will eventually be back and be able to interrupt us, and we'll know that he's here.
sweet. All right.
So, there he is. Matt, you want to finish what you're saying? I'm going to stop believing Matt's here until I hear him say a full sentence. So, I saw a lot in the comments, too, on the post-game articles. Robbie, did you happen to notice a lot of people were ready to blame the defense blame the offense for the defense's second-half performance and giving up 508 total yards, 356 rushing yards.
I don't remember seeing too much of that.
I saw from a few people. Okay, so maybe my perception is askew then.
I will agree, though, that I don't think it's the offense's fault for the defense's troubles for this game, though.
Well, the time of possession was pretty even. It was 30 minutes.
And, that was pretty much like one of the first times this season that's happened.
Mm-hmm. Ball State had the ball for 30 minutes and 24 seconds. UB then, of course, had it for 29 minutes and 36 seconds. So,
that's so much more time the offense has had a hold of the ball. So, by no means is it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the first half we probably had the advantage in terms of time held.
Yeah, I'm on my phone now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so that's what for the last year and a half, part of the issue has been how much can we realistically ask of the defense, as crappy as the offense has been. This time, I feel like the offense didn't put the defense in a huge hole, and the defense let us down the second half. But also, as pleased as I was with the offense and Tyree threw for 300 yards, I'm still very unhappy with the offensive play calling. And sometimes I say I'm not a coach. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But I just don't see how on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, you're not lining Tyree as close to his center's butt as he possibly can be and just have him get the ball and fall forward with his 6'7" frame. Tom Brady does it incredibly, and Tyree's 6'7", 245.
I think everyone in the world except Kotaloki and Ball State fans cringed when we lined up for that second 4th and 1 from the shotgun. Like the first time failed miserably, but okay, maybe we were going to try something special. But the second time killed me. It was just like you have a guy who could sneeze forward a yard.
Yeah.
And you line him up 5 yards deep in the backfield, and you're
running an option.
This offense just runs shotgun so much. It was last year that I really got angry at it versus Florida Atlantic, where Kotolnicki lined up like I think it was 3 wide receivers, no running back from shotgun. What do you think is going to happen? Is Joe Licata going to run the ball? It's just there's so much shotgun, and usually when there's a run play from shotgun, it's that draw play up the middle over and over again.
And our line was not playing terribly in that game. I mean, there's no reason to think that your line can't get Tyree Jackson enough push for him to get a few inches.
No, there's no reason, especially with James O'Hagan at center. Like put him right, just let him ride James O'Hagan's hip down to the ground, and you can get a yard.
Mm-hmm.
Like James O'Hagan has to beat one guy, and Tyree has to pick whichever gap is open. If there's a nose tackle right over O'Hagan's helmet, like that's all that has to happen. O'Hagan's a former wrestler, a good wrestler. Like, just tell him to beat a guy and move him 6 inches to one side, and tell Tyree to just fall forward into the gap, and you've got your 1 yard.
But I was amazed. I was really happy with Jackson all around. I mean, 300-yard game. I have a records post going up later tonight or early tomorrow before the football game.
300-yard game with a 36-yard touchdown pass taken away.
Yep, that's true.
Both of those long plays that were taken away they didn't get another first down on either of those drives. Yeah. So it's not even like he then followed that drive up with 30 yards that he, got anyway. I liked him. He had a good.
And that's one of the things what I meant when I said I've accepted the fact this is going to be a brutal season.
Yeah.
Now the last time we had a season this bad was 2010, And the really frustrating part about the 2010 season for me was it was like Jeff Quinn was switching quarterbacks every 4 or 5 weeks. So it wasn't – you didn't have, okay, this is a developmental year for quarterback X. I think this year we can say this is Tyree Jackson's learning year. We're not going to do anything with it. Hawkins is looking good. I don't want to say great because he's not getting enough work for me to say he's looking great. Definitely seen flashes of it. My only concern remains the offensive line, where we're going to lose O'Hagan O'Hagan's a junior, I think. Where I don't see any big talent coming. If the offensive line is thin this year, I don't see anything come along. Maybe think it won't be thin again next year. But on the defensive side of the ball, again, we said don't blame the defense, or don't blame the offense for the defense. I kind of don't want to blame the defense for the defense because they got killed by the refs, and that swung the momentum of the game. What do you think about that, Robbie? I mean, is it before they had that one bad drive that I don't want to pin on the refs, but then they had the 80-yard touchdown run, which was 100% the refs missing a hold right in front of them.
I don't say that we couldn't have won that game. There's, give us those touchdowns and those yards that the refs screwed up, and it would have been a win. This was definitely a much better game, but I don't know if it's because we went against worse talent in Ball State.
Well, they're 3-3 now, right?
I feel no shame in playing better against bad teams because learning how to win is something useful. And this is a year that even if we think we should be winning more, a lot of our players would be learning how to win. I don't have an issue with that. Because you still do have to execute.
Mm-hmm.
This was a better game than Kent State, and I believe Ball State is probably a better team than Kent State. Keep in mind, Kent State lost to Miami. I mean, so let's understand how low in the pecking order we are here. I don't know if we've published our power rankings piece for the week yet, but I was really quick.
I haven't filled any out, so I hope we haven't.
Yeah, no, we didn't. It's been okay.
I was very quick to go out there on Sunday and put Buffalo last because Kent blew us away. Miami beat Kent. I have no reason to think that we're not the worst team in the conference right now. Even back when Jeff Quinn was really bad, that was arguable. It was us and Akron. You could have a debate of who was worse.
Until we lost to Akron.
I say it's a very.
We beat Ohio. We beat Ohio that season. So
I say it's a very close race between us and Bowling Green for last.
If we don't beat Miami, we could be 1-11 this year.
Yeah.
And that one win, let's be honest with ourselves, was kind of a fluke win against a team that missed 3 field goals in the second half.
Yeah, we said it. Everything possibly that could have gone wrong for Army happened in that last quarter.
We could play a game that we haven't been able to play in a long time. I don't know that we've ever played it before at all. We definitely haven't. Over, under, or excuse me, it wouldn't be over, under. Which will be more at the end of the season? Matt's tattoos, Matt's tattoos, or UB football wins?
Wait, what?
I'm not going to tell you how many I have right now, but I will say
you have
that
2.
it hasn't. I will say that it hasn't been relevant for a couple of years.
You have either 2 or 3. I think you have 2.
We're just gonna have to wait till the end of the season.
Okay.
Let's see.
All right.
There will be more Matt tattoos.
In that case, I'm going to say over.
I'm going to have to go with over as well.
Wait, which one is over?
There'll be more Matt tattoos than UB football wins.
Okay.
Hey, we have 2 viewers. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard.
Robbie, there's 3 people. There's 3 people on the chat.
Says 2 viewers right here. So
kind of since it's been such a bad season, we talked offline and decided this is going to be a lot less formulaic a show and much more a hangout. So I'm going to go into my poor sob story of why I've been away for 2 weeks. In case you don't know, I totaled my car. It was
most
one of those
boring total ever.
I know. The guys have seen the pictures. I'll put the pictures in the comments later.
It's
It
like
was
having a battle scar as like a middle schooler, and it being like, having this terrible injury and then it doesn't scar at all.
it's like
Like,
stubbing your toe and dying from septic. I hit another car, no airbags deployed. My toddler was in the car with me, and she thinks it's the funnest thing that ever happened to her. I have heard since the accident, like, that accident was great, Dad. It was like a carnival ride for her. I'm not going to lie, the other car was in pretty rough shape because I had a Ford Explorer and it was a Kia. But even that, the other driver his airbags didn't go off to get out. So I drove my car to the shop, and I'm like thinking, $5,000 in damage. Dang, my insurance is going to go up. Oh, well, what you going to do? And I get a call from the guy about 20 minutes later. Oh, your car's gone. It's done. What do you mean? I just drove it 50 miles. I bent the frame, apparently. And apparently, finding a frame for a 2010 Explorer cost you upwards of $6,000 just for the parts. So I've been car shopping. We're down to one car with 4 kids, which is always fun. And then on top of that, the next day, my furnace went. And I live in Minnesota, for those of you who don't know. So furnaces are becoming kind of important this time of year. And that required me running. It was an electrical problem I had to run down. And it turned out I have a generator switch I didn't know about. And one of my kids found it and played with it and switched my house over to generator mode.
How convenient that they found it while the furnace was down. Because imagine if they did it.
They found it, just before. If they'd found it in a month, it would have been really bad.
Yeah.
It was $100 for me to discover that because I actually went through and changed the breakers. I could not find out where this thing was broken. And I had to call an electrician out. Me, the electrical engineer, had to call an electrician out. And he took one look at it. He's like, have you tried your generator switches? I'm like, oh, is that what those are?
Oh,
no. And, of course, I missed the marathon that I've been training for all year. Partially because of this, because of one car and all this other stuff going on.
And the Legionnaires.
And Legionnaires. My wife, I have I've had a chest cold for about 3 months. And there were cases of Legionnaires in Minnesota in a town about an hour from us. But Minji swears somehow it jumped lake to lake to get to me.
Mm-hmm, she says.
You're right, yes. So between that and just the general malaise of the season, I've not been inspired to do a lot of posting or do this show until this past week. Because this past week I finally saw glimmers of hope for the next few years. I finally saw Tyree Jackson, and not his fault that he's a freshman. He didn't look like a freshman against Ball State. Right? He looked really good. He nearly carried the team. And I do believe there will be coaching changes after the season, which will make things better.
I'm glad you believe that. I want them badly, but I can't believe it.
You know, man, I'll get you the I want to believe thing with the UFO. You put it up behind you for the next one. Because this is Division I college football, and while we are not considered a power big money program, you can't be this bad 2 years in a row and have no one held accountable.
I mean,
I
openly called for his job in the comments at the end of last season. I remember doing it, and no one pressed me that hard on it.
Okay, here's the over-under. Here's the over-under, my over-under for the end of the season. Robbie, I want to know what you think. How many wins does UB need for Kotoloki to keep his job?
4.
So if we win half of our next game,
I'd be fine with 4 wins this season. In the preseason because of all the newcomers. So
if we win 3 games on the season, he's gone.
I would say so, yeah. I thought there was too much talent on this roster for there to be only 3 wins.
Are we asking about what we would do or what UB will do?
We're asking what we think UB would do. I know what you would do.
I think
if UB, he's not going then.
I think if they win 2 out of their last 6, he stays.
So 3 wins then. A 3-win season, he sticks around.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hate it.
They'll keep him.
And the thing is, I don't know why they're keeping him because he's the newest, of the guys that he brought from Whitewater, he was the newest to Lance's world.
We wrote an article. We wrote an article right after the week saying, yeah, there was some progress, but really outside of 2 great seasons at Wisconsin Whitewater, which was already the Alabama of Division III.
That might be an understatement.
Yeah, I mean, it's even better than that. I mean,
yeah.
Outside of that, his record as an offensive coordinator for the past 10 years is pretty.
It's awful.
Yeah,
I'm not going to
I
sugarcoat
wasn't going to say
it.
quite
It's
like
awful.
that. How did he end up at Whitewater again? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know.
Lance's OC, I think, stepped down because he didn't want to coach anymore, and he needed an OC. I think that's
the
what
most
happened.
Division III thing ever.
Yeah.
He wanted to spend more time in the classroom.
I'm wondering how a guy from a program that doesn't have a winning record gets that job.
Wait, I'm gonna do some Google foo.
Okay, Matt will do Google foo. So I guess that's a bigger point. Is a lot of the guys that came over with Leipold were longtime Leipold guys, and I want to say at the time I was concerned about bringing up so many Division III talent. I was fine with Leipold, but I thought you needed to surround yourself with guys who knew Division I. You know, we had Ionello as a transition coach. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wearing my blue-tinted glasses and everything looked beautiful that Leipold wanted to do. I don't remember to that detail. But yeah, Kotoloki's kind of the one guy who's the newcomer. So Jeff Quinn punted Greg Forrest after one season. And honestly, I blame that season more on Quinn than I do Forrest, because I got to imagine Quinn was the offensive guru, right? That's what he was hired as.
So Kotoloki was hired from the University of Mary. I guess we must have already known that from that.
Yeah, we knew that much.
Piece that we did.
Yep.
Okay, 1 second.
I do want to point out there really isn't that many Whitewater guys on staff, though. You have your
Not anymore.
The first year, yeah, there were a lot, but at this point, it's a lot of guys that I think have had previous Division I experience in some way.
What was a good Division I experience followed by, or was it bad Division I experience followed by a good Division III experience?
Kotolnicki's brother coaches at University of Mary.
Oh no!
Yeah, no, he's a head coach now. I discovered that. I don't know if but I don't think he was a head coach then.
Oh, it's definitely his brother. Yeah, he started in 2014, so that was Andy Kotoloki's second. I can call this guy Kotolnicki and our guy Kotoloki. His second year at Whitewater. There's not much in the way of news articles about Division III coordinator hires.
That's how it works.
But given the fact his brother's there, I got to imagine that they had some kind of connection to University of Mary.
Yeah, I'm going to do a custom range here. He started for the 2013 season. Yes. So I'll say January.
But yeah, I like the Whitewater hires that are here, except for Kotolnicki, and I don't have any ill will against him. But
and that's always hard. That's a hard thing.
I didn't have ill will against him until I watched him spend 45 seconds looking for his headset on the sideline at Boston College. And then I had a little bit more in the way of ill will.
Hey, come on. Thurman Thomas couldn't find his helmet during a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I have ill will towards him, too.
But, I like Borland as a hire. I feel like he's brought the defense in a good direction. There's, for whatever reason, this year there's been some problems, but last year was really cool seeing, these turnover frenzy games where we would just get like 2 interceptions and a fumble return touchdown.
You're dead right. The first half of Ball State, the defense looked like it looked last year.
Yeah.
It was very blitz heavy too, and it was great to watch.
Playability, players in the backfield, absolutely.
And very aggressive, swarming, clever blitzes. It was what they should have been doing all year. I don't know why they've waited the whole year to open that up, but It's there now, at least. And again, the second half, I mean, Ball State scored 24 points in the second half. I would say at least we know 7 of those were complete horse hockey. Based off the hold. So I mean, it's and who knows what would happen if UB got their score. I actually wasn't that disappointed with the defense outside of the fact that they seemed to kind of give up later in the game. And again, we can't blame them on the offense. It wasn't fatigue. I think it was just they were resigned to the fact that refs screwed them out of that game. And that speaks to the coach not having them. You got to be able to play in those situations. You can't let the refs put you out of a game.
But yeah, in regards to Whitewater hires, then you have Alan Hensel, and he's the tight ends coach. He coached up Matt Weiser, and Weiser did a wonderful job last year, and now Mason Treck's doing a great job. The tight ends have been a huge focal point to the offense for the past 2 seasons. And
because we don't have any burners at receiver.
Hensel's
Except
a guy.
Kmart's bad.
Hensel's had FCS experience over at Gardner Webb, and when he was at Whitewater, he was the wide receivers coach, and 4 of his wide receivers had all conference honors in their last year with Leipold. So I wonder how he would be as an offensive coordinator, to be honest.
You know who was once a receivers coach?
Who?
PJ Fleck.
Oh, look at that. We were rowing the boat today at men's soccer.
Oh.
Because it was raining and pouring, and we scored the goal, and then we just started rowing the boat.
If we can, if we're going to talk Olympics, we need to go back in time to September, because October has been very disappointing.
It has been extremely disappointing to watch.
I'm hoping this is a blip. Departments have bad years. I'm hoping this is not a sign that when Danny White left, he took some of the magic with him, because we don't know.
I'm worried. Last year wasn't that great, but it wasn't. Yeah. But last year wasn't a downturn. Last year still felt like a healthy department establishing a new floor for itself. And this year makes me fear that 2013 to 2015
was a ceiling.
Was a cyclical peak rather than a department finally getting its sea legs underneath it. Mm-hmm. I think in more ways than one, we've all talked about the marketing side of things and the appeal to the Western New York area side of things that Danny White got out at the right time, but he also got out at the right time with a lot of his coaching hires. He hit home runs with the first 6 or 7, and the last 3 or 4 have not been home runs. And that concerns me.
Looking at you, softball.
Softball I'm willing to give a chance to, but I'm looking at volleyball.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready to salt the earth with volleyball at the end of the season. Her second.
Their second year, but she wasn't able to.
It's basically her first. It's basically her first because she's playing 8 freshmen because everyone left.
And I was going to say that.
And to some extent, I'm willing to say, okay, people leave. This sucks. But on the other hand, you run this program. You got to bring in people who you know are going to work with you. Also, maybe before being a D1 coach, you should have more experience than running a camp.
Did she run a camp?
She ran a camp and put the word elite in front of it.
Oh no.
And it was a cash grab, and I don't have a problem saying that. And I have a lot of issues with volleyball, one of which being they have absolutely no presence in trying to attract fans whatsoever. They charge, this is probably not her choice, but they charge $8 a game. You know who else charges $8 a game? UCLA women's soccer, one of the best women's soccer teams in the country, in one of the most expensive cities in the country. And we pay $8 to watch one of the worst volleyball teams in the country, one of the cheapest cities in the country. Her total head coaching record is 9-42. And we're at the beginning of a program building process because last year went for nothing when everyone left. So I'm waiting for the season to end. If they finish strong like they did last year, I'll say I will have some benefit of the doubt. But I will
give them this. They looked very good today. It was against
Yeah.
Central Michigan, and they're awful, but it did look much better.
They're better than us. They're very
Yeah.
clearly better than us.
Well, obviously, but like
They took
I don't know. Would taking 5 sets to beat someone does make you very clearly better.
I'm not talking about tonight. I'm talking about course of the season. We've had some stretches in the last 3 weeks where that team has put together some strong 4 set stretches. And they look like more of a team than they have in the past. I think that there's more talent on the team than there was last year. But if you take 3 years, the Jeff Quinn method, you take 3 years going 2 wins, 3 wins, 4 wins, and that 4th year where you finally quote unquote built your program, then you get 8 wins and it feels like it should have been way more.
I don't think you would quite go like that, but I do think you got to remember PJ.
Yeah, I don't mean to equate it, but I just
PJ Fleck's first season at Western Michigan, they were a laughing stock. I mean, they were awful. They were terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember.
So WarhawkFootball.com only goes back to the beginning of this season.
I remember looking at how awful PJ's teams were when he started.
Oh, they were just awful. They were a laughing stock when he did that roll.
But like he's a generally a young coach too, though.
Yeah, he was very young.
There was definitely a learning curve, I think, for a Division I job at his age.
I mean, not all freshmen. I mean, his first teams were mostly freshmen. So, and here we are 4 years later, and who's laughing? Who's laughing is Western Michigan fans because PJ Fleck can act like a clown, but he wins games, which makes his clownish behavior somewhat endearing.
Blair Brown Lipsitz is not going to win games the way that she's going.
Okay, and I'll defer to you on that because I don't really follow women's sports, volleyball, basketball.
There's just no excitement about it. The team. I don't know. I'll see them in person for the first time next weekend, and maybe I'll see reasons.
Well,
I'm going to Buffalo next weekend.
They don't engage fans. They don't do anything to the fans except for throw a couple volleyballs in the crowd at the beginning of the game.
I think other than Brian Wolf's tweets, they tweet like maybe once a month. Like other than Brian Wolf's tweets when he takes over the account.
Yeah.
And compare it to how Stu Riddle engages the fans. Compare it.
Stu Riddle, my man.
I would, by comparison, Stu Riddle is going to watch a banner recruiting class leave UB, and I don't think this team is going to advance as far in the MAC tournament as they did last year, and people are going to say, oh my goodness, they didn't improve on last year, and I don't think people recognize yet just how special their run was last year and how difficult it is to do something like that in a small conference with Akron at the top of it.
And the MAC is not a bad conference.
Stu Riddle, as far as I'm concerned, has earned 6 more years at this school. What he's done the last 3 years and what he's done with the program from where it was when he came in.
I think it's fair. I'm not a huge soccer fan, but I do know enough to know that what he's done has been amazingly impressive.
So, Matt, I never bothered to look this up, but why did Stu leave Western Michigan?
I don't know.
They were just
hired him.
He moved.
That is the great question.
It's not so much that he left. Maybe he did leave on bad terms, but he left. His assistant was hired up, and he brought 3 guys that he had. He brought Russell over. I mean, Russell's from between Detroit and Western.
Yeah.
And Alec Fisher's from Kalamazoo. Steven Stryker's from Kalamazoo. Like, those are the guys he brought. And I know there's bad blood since, because the assistant coach that took over Western coached all those guys in their high school elite travel team, and Stu was just the college coach. Let me see if I can find
that made me believe Danny White was really special. He went and rated the coach of a conference rival who was a good team. Western Michigan was not.
He's the only MAC coach to ever seriously challenge Akron in MAC play.
Yeah,
he's the only one ever to do it. But UB fan was super excited about it. I found the Western Michigan board on his.
So while Matt looks around,
I'm reading a 3-year-old comment from Tim that doesn't make any sense to me.
I'll talk to the audience while you read. Okay, this won't be. That was one of the things which made us really look at because that hire happened. I think Danny White's second year, and it was like, well, this is a guy who will go out and he can actually convince a great coach from a conference rival, not a Division III school, not a smaller conference, but come from your established good program over to Buffalo for building something special. And it's one of the things that made us look at this like, wow, if he can do this, then he's really is going to turn us into one of the more destination programs in the conference. So it was one of those early hires where Matt said that Danny White was hitting him out of the park for his first year. Seemed like everyone he hired was gold.
So it looks like his team revolted on him, so he left and took his recruits.
His team revolted on him.
A half dozen players filed a formal complaint to try and get him fired.
Oh, Western Michigan's always revolting. They were now rebelling.
I can't see why you would revolt against the guy.
I know.
But people put on different masks. So we have a couple of UB coaches that do that.
The only interactions I've ever had with Riddle have been basically over voicemail, and he's been very pleasant. Robbie, you've definitely had more interaction with him than I have.
He is. So. I really think he's a really awesome guy. And he interacts with True Blue a lot too, and he really wants to build something here, and he loves being here.
Like Oates, he's got young kids.
Yeah, and no other coaching staff does this at UB. They're always walking around the student union talking about their game, to students and asking them to come out and stuff. And they're just down to a much more personal level than any other coaching staff. And, they have the social media presence. They have the best one out of, every team that's here.
Oh, hold on. Was the player revolt? Player revolt might have been his first season at UB when a bunch of guys left in the spring season. I remember that happening.
Okay. But he has that program figured out, in my opinion, in a lot of different ways that other programs here don't. And I love the social media presence that they have, and I feel like more UB accounts should have that. You have men's soccer. Anytime you tweet at them anything positive, they'll like the tweet and they'll play off of it, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And as much as I think that the hashtag American Russell was so stupid,
that was actually created by the team.
Oh my God! Well, it was stupid.
It was a play on American muscle.
You're wrong, Matt. You're wrong, and your opinion is wrong, and you should feel bad.
Here's why it was stupid, because no one knew where it came from.
Yeah, no, I didn't come out until halfway through the season of where it came from.
See, if the only person who was using it was Louis.
Yeah, it was just
and
Louis.
The SIDs are just constantly throwing shit at the wall to make it stick, and I'm all right with that, but it obviously wasn't sticking. Anyway, for all of that, Louis interacts with us more than any of the other SIDs on a regular basis. They all do a little bit.
So their problem was not the hashtag. The problem is their engagement.
Yeah. At any rate,
funny. I heard that immediately. I was like, I don't watch a lot of soccer. I did watch some of today's match.
I will say it's better than Don Cicerone. I'm just gonna.
I didn't like that name, and True Blue still is going at it.
When it takes you until the guy's senior year of possibly the greatest soccer player ever to step on this turf, certainly the second best at worst, to notice him, just start calling him by his name. It's too late.
I know, but at the same time,
just yell Cicerone.
This is the first year that True Blue is literally taking every sport seriously now. We just have the organization to do it. And
I understand that.
And they just came out with a nickname because I understand how it's too late. And I kind of agree.
I mean, the Kraken nickname came up in the middle of McRae's senior year, and it was too late. And it was a great ride, but it was too late.
Hey, I sold 3 T-shirts with that.
until Buffalo Superfan called you. Hold on. Until Buffalo Superfan called you a pimp, in my opinion.
That's right. I forgot about that.
That's the story now. That's when I lost it with that guy. That was the cross for me between between this guy like deserves some patience to this guy is openly capable of being a jerk when he wants to, and I don't have tolerance for it anymore. Is when he said that we made shirts that said "Release the Kraken," which was a nickname that I came up with and a meme that we pushed out into the world and got picked up by people.
If anyone should be t-shirts, Matt, who I probably owe 50 cents to.
And well, if CJ Buckets takes off, that was also mine. Those are my two greatest.
CJ Buckets is the name that everybody uses now.
Yeah, I'll go. I love going back and find, like, even though I remember writing the tweets, I still go back and look at the first tweets that I used it in. I feel good about myself.
Who created CJ Buckets is a phenomenon.
But when Buffalo Superfan basically called Tim out for pimping out Javon McCray by selling T-shirts with a nickname that we created, I was just like, I'm done. Like.
And I believe McCray was in Europe at the time when he called me out on that. They didn't call me out when they went on sale.
Yeah, it was
graduated.
It was after the Eastern Michigan loss. Yes,
you know when BSF lost
it.
me? BSF lost me when he said that UB should merge with Buff State.
My wife says that's the only time pimp has ever been used in a sentence with me.
That's a good thing.
Although I have always wanted a pair of shoes with goldfish in them, so maybe even this will be a thing.
Oh man! Congratulations, football. This is how interesting you are.
We got off track with your tattoo comment, so I blame you.
You know, Tim gave me free reign. Tim said, "We're just gonna hang out."
But this is literally a hangout because. Well, I mean, it's become formulaic. I mean,
should we at least do
play calling, missed opportunities? What do we do next week? Well, let's call better plays. Let's take advantage.
We've been saying the same shit for 2 years. It's just part of my language.
Are we going to get our coach? Probably not. Probably not. Is he going to get rid of anyone on staff? Probably not. Probably not.
How does BC Interruption deal with all this? Losing.
No.
BC Interruption puts their head in the sand and follows hockey.
And from what I honestly haven't followed hockey at all this year, and I just don't have the time in my life to.
I saw they lost to Dearborn. That to me, since the bag skate 2 years ago, Dearborn's the only game I care about. And I saw they lost to them, and I was like, all right, season sucks. Like,
well, Dearborn's a really good school.
But do you remember 2 years ago?
No, I know when their coach flipped out and Jeff bag skate.
Like, that to me was the beginning of myth and legend, and then
that's when we should have had to play them every year from that point on.
Yeah, but I saw from the ACHA Twitter, ACHA scores that we lost them like 7-3 or something. I was like, all right.
Well, we lost a lot of talent this year, but honestly, I haven't had the time to follow it. If anyone watching this tomorrow, because let's be honest, no one watching right now. If
RMA is
3 viewers.
Remo.
Right,
three
viewers. We got 3.
Or the 20 people that'll watch tomorrow decide they want to cover hockey for Bull Run, reach out to me. I'll make sure to do. What? I love it, but I don't have the time. Even hockey's let me down. Hockey's been great for the past 4 or 5 years.
Uh-oh.
Like, if there's any club sport, and I need to reach out more with the other club sports, but if like they want coverage, like just send stuff along and we'll put it up.
Send stuff to us. Yeah, we don't have the bandwidth, because that's a big reason that I never devoted energy to hockey, was there's only been one couple month stretch where I've felt like I'm covering everything and I have room to do a little bit more. But if people want to write things up, there's always fan posts. They can always just email stuff to us. Like, we'll put it up.
And if you consistently fan post and it's good and you want to have something up, we're more than willing to support the club teams.
It's just, I got to focus on the Division I sports, unfortunately.
Yeah, especially the ones that don't shit talk us. Actually, that said, I do think this most recent edition that I won't go into by name was just a genuine trying to build some attention.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
But you build a reputation for yourselves.
I'll live tweet it tomorrow while I'm there, and
we'll cover it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, basically is. I mean, let's be honest. Dave has left this year. Conrad has entered fatherhood land. John McWhinney's entered full-time engineering land. I've had my fourth kid. You know, we're all stretched pretty thin. We're always open to people that have shown through fan posts that they can write, they want to write semi-regularly. So yeah, if ever you feel tickled that your sport's not getting covered, you know, we're here. It's a pretty open group of guys to whatever you want to write.
Yeah, just don't tell me to shut my mouth if I don't know what I'm talking about. And then fail to make and then
Did you
fail
guys
to
know
make
that we do this for free?
Yeah. And don't fail to make
the athletics.
Well, not my Kraken shirts.
This is my athletic department office with the Christmas tree in the background.
My Kraken shirts cost $18.99. They're not quite free, but yeah, there's three people out there who are fabulous in them.
I am still sad that I didn't grab a football shirt, but there's no way in hell I'm buying one now.
I was gonna say you can buy one. I'm so close to actually.
Wait, does the Slack bot still say football is football?
Okay.
Oh, we can't go into inside jokes.
Through Game Day Depot for I think 5 years. I've been selling T-shirts through Game Day Depot, and some of them have been really good. I think the Back to Buffalo one was really good. They won't send me a check until I sell so many T-shirts because it's not worth them to send me a check for 75 cents, right? I am like 6 T-shirts away from actually collecting $20. So just so you guys know.
Hold on, what's the link to our stuff?
I'll throw it out there in the article.
Please tweet it out with the quote, "I am like 6 T-shirts away from actually collecting $20." Also, I'll probably this week mail you a check for 75 cents just for the hell.
I'll raise you for $1.
Actually, I think that's the other way, man. I honestly do think I owe you some money.
Oh, man. Do we still want to do Brewpeg? Do we give a shit?
Oh, yeah, we should do Brewpeg. Hey, we're up to 4 comments. There was an over-under. Kevin and RMA are actually 3 of them. So, Robbie, who I think you said we'd be under 2 comments, or was it Matt?
I said over under 2 comments about the Christmas tree in the background.
Oh, everyone comment about the Christmas tree in the background. He has a white Christmas tree in the background.
Why?
Because my roommates are dumb.
I like this format. I need this. This might go back to Wednesday just because I think I need this on Wednesdays more than Fridays.
Oh, yes. No, I'm good with that.
All right, let's throw Brewpeg up and get it out there. I haven't done a pick in 2 weeks, but I'm picking.
Me neither.
I'm picking Buffalo every week, so I wouldn't got any points anyways. All right, so we're playing in NIU, and
that's
normally
right. I forgot who we were playing.
Normally this is a curb stomping experience, but let's face it, NIU's been pretty bad this year. Really bad. The game is in DeKalb. DeKalb? How do I say that? DeKalb?
I don't know. I think it's DeKalb. I think it's got that Great Lakes vowel raise. Let's look.
Let's just believe.
Honestly, if my kids didn't have classes tomorrow for their activities, I was kind of tempted to drive down there. It's about a 10-hour drive for me.
Yeah, it's
okay. Even if my kids didn't have activities, I wouldn't be driving down there.
it's DeKalb. It is with that Great Lakes vowel raise in there.
Okay.
We don't care.
Never mind.
You know what? It's not pronounced Chicago, Northern Illinois.
I'm not leaving my wife
Chicago.
With, home.
Thin crust pizza? No, thank you for Chicago.
Right. So
10 hours one way?
Yeah.
No.
I'm a happy man. So, anyways, UB's traveling out to Chicago, quote Chicagoland, even though, come on, they're not Chicagoland. I've driven through DeKalb. It's cornfields. Cornfields is not Chicagoland. Anywho, so okay, NIU's been pretty bad this year. I think they have. Who have they beaten? They got the one win
SCS
over.
team, I think.
No, they lost to their FCS
Oh, we lost
team.
to Western Illinois. That's right.
I'll tell you in a minute.
I'm looking it up too. So the question is, are they bad enough for us to beat? Right.
They're only one spot above Ball State in the Sagarins. So
but it's a road game.
They beat Ball State by 7.
That's it.
On the road.
So Buffalo could play in this one. I mean, if the Bulls come out with if they do for the full game what they did in the first half versus Ball State, they could win this game, or at least be really, really in it. NIU's coach, the last time I checked in the hot seat rankings, is 2 spots warmer than Lance Leipold. I think they're at 18. This is really the first time NIU has been bad. Gosh, I
we've
think
actually
since
made the rankings now as coaching hot seat. We're in the rankings now for the coaching hot seat.
Yes, Lance Leipold's now officially on a hot seat, according to them.
Okay. Because Rod Carey's been on it all season.
Well, the hot seat, generally I ignore them till near the end of the season. But yeah, Leipold is, I think, 22.
Okay.
And Carey is 20. I think Carey might be done after this year. This was the year they were hoping to break into the American Athletic Conference.
I don't see how he stays.
Well, let's just – first of all, NIU should be really comfortable in the MAC right now because the Big 12 isn't expanding, which means the American is safe, which means there's no way they're going to take a school whose only good attribute was football, and even that has been now shattered.
Literally their only good attribute.
Literally. They're not a great – I don't want to slam –
Men's tennis. But
yeah, they're not a great school academically. They're good. They're not anything that shines nationally. I think they're a decent research school. Their sports programs, their basketball has been terrible for years.
Last year was like the best year in forever.
Well, it was the best year forever. They played 4 Division II schools.
Yeah, well, that's all of the MAC now, unfortunately.
I mean, they played more Division II schools than some Division II schools play. So,
I love the MAC so much. I love it so much just because of stuff like that.
Well, no one really. Ball State did it. I think, and NIU did it. But I mean, Buffalo played a couple. One was an exhibition, which I'm fine with, and one was just.
No, we played one non-Division I team outside of
our exhibitions.
Game. So.
And most MAC schools are like it, but NIU and Ball State were the worst defenders last year.
And EMU.
EMU and CMU also had a ton.
EMU.
I didn't pay attention.
Eastern Michigan actually told Hustlebelt that every team in the MAC was playing 3 or 4 non-Division I teams in their regular season schedule, and it was kind of like,
and Kent and Ohio,
like, guys, do you know that like this stuff is publicly available? Like, we can.
Do you see Akron and Buffalo over there? They're not really doing that.
Neither is Kent. Okay, other than 8 of the 12 teams in the conference, everyone is doing it.
What's score prediction?
Yeah, you.
Because I want to hang up and go to bed.
I'm going to hang up and go to bed. All right, my prediction. I got to pick Buffalo every week because I'm a sadist. I'm going to say Buffalo 24, NIU 20. I have no explanation as to how that's going to happen. But, Robbie?
Okay, so I posted my brew peg, but I think I might change it. So I had NIU 28, UB 21. But there's no way in hell that we don't miss a PAT. So NIU 28, UB 20.
Oh, you're just being mean now, Matt.
Well, you want mean because here it comes.
We're 1-5. That's what happens.
NIU 33, Buffalo 16. And you know that 16 ain't coming with a touchdown and 3 made field goals.
I was thinking 8 safeties.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we could do that. I think 7 safeties, and a blocked extra point returned for a 2-point defensive conversion.
Oh, my gosh.
That would
be
awesome.
That once. We did that against Ohio once.
I'd be happy with that loss.
Yeah, things that would make me happy in a loss. If Khalil Hodge stopped in the middle of a play and started breakdancing.
If Lance Leipold was wearing a Kraken t-shirt.
Yeah, you pimp. Yeah. Boy, we're gonna have trouble staying in time with the new format.
I'm fine with it.
That's okay.
Whatever.
No one cares, they say. Stop being a tight ass.
Yep. Matt's got to put this in SoundCloud, so I don't care. Let's go long.
I'll edit it up in the morning.
So Matt has to edit.
I wonder if I can edit on my phone while I'm standing in what I assume will be long lines at the early voting center tomorrow.
Oh, as much as Hangout this is, we're not talking politics.
I'm just thinking when I'll be able to edit things, and I'm going to be in a long line. That's all.
I gotta take time out of my day to vote.
Early. I'm not going to talk specifically politics, but man, has early voting gotten early? Used to be like a day or two before the election. Now it's like a month in advance.
I'm not complaining. Shout out.
She's going to put in her votes early for the for the 2032 election. She's going to vote.
Damn. What am I going to be doing in 2032?
Voting Pedro.
Vote Pedro.
Oh, if we only could.
Well, we can. You can write in. We vote Bull Run. Vote the Kraken.
Vote BSF. Like his vice presidential nomination, KSF. You brought up Kansas Superfan this week. I'm just like, no. We don't need another one of you.
All right. So we've got our brew pegs in. Shout-outs go to my shout-out goes to Minnesota Athletics Department, who this is the negative shout. This is an anti-shout-out. Get your house in order.
So it's fine.
Get your house in order. As bad as the Athletics have been at Buffalo this year, they've been pretty bad so far. Every night on the news, I see players with restraining orders filed against them, kicked off teams, and it's not just one program. It's football, wrestling, basketball. Get your head together. If you got to clear your house, clear your house. If you do clear your house, I know a lot of people you should hire. But anyways, that's it for my shout-out. Robbie?
Shout out to Stu Riddle for pizza.
For pizza?
Yeah, he bought pizza for everyone who came to the game today. So, that was wonderful.
My wife just looked up who? The men's soccer coach today bought pizza for the fans.
Second time he did it this season.
The man has one meal.
Minchie's now a soccer fan.
Pizza's my favorite food, so the guy's he's my savior.
He speaks our love language.
Matt?
Yeah, I haven't gone longer than 4 days without eating pizza since the beginning of the summer, so I fully support your shout out, Robbie. I don't know. My shout out goes to wrestling because I still have some excitement left in my fan soul for them. And I'm looking forward to wrestling.
I think wrestling is going to just be wonderful to make up for all the awfulness of the fall season.
Yeah. I mean, the fall season hasn't been awful.
It's not awful, but it's just disappointing.
Like, women's soccer at the end of the season is going to be where I expect them to be, but they looked like they'd be better in September. Men's soccer, if they turn around right now, then I'm happy. I feel like I have another shout out.
I feel like I have one too.
I'm going to say, while you guys think your shout-outs, I'm going to say this. My concern about wrestling is that much like soccer, the MAC is a very good conference, which means Buffalo can be a very good program and still look bad.
But unlike soccer, our guys can finish third in the MAC in every weight class, and we'll send 7 or 8 of them to nationals.
True.
We don't have to beat Missouri head-to-head to have more of a season. My shout-out is to... No, that's a shitty shout-out. I don't have another one.
All right, so let us know in the comments if you like this new format. We'll be... And if you don't, well, we're probably still going to do it because really until UB starts giving us more to talk about...
Maybe we'll win tomorrow and we'll have stuff to talk about a win. And
maybe we'll...
changed.
Maybe we'll have a game-tying touchdown and we'll miss the extra point.
Oh, man, if that happens,
It's just gonna hit the upright. I'm telling you.
I
I'm
know,
just gonna
Robbie,
tell
we're
you-
having an old guy conversation now.
I assumed, but I'm just gonna. It's just field goals.
Peter-
Gonna hit the upright.
Peter Farden.
You're farting.
I've heard that name already.
Greatest punting I've ever seen in the International Bowl. And then
Worst place kicking.
worst place
I've ever
kicking.
Oh, my shout out now. I know what it is. Speaking of punters, shout out to Kyle DeWeen. You keep doing you. MVP.
We don't say
Also,
that.
also an old guy conversation.
Oh,
Don't call any of our specialists MVP.
Don't do that.
Uh,
We gotta bring him up better than this, Matt. We really do.
The
Yeah.
running joke in True Blue is that Kyle DeWeen's the MVP and he's the best.
that was a
player.
running joke once for someone else, and it didn't turn out too well for him because he's kicking in the Chinese. He's kicking in the Chinese Arena Football League now. Do you want that for Kyle DeWeen?
No, not at
That's
all.
not a
I'm sorry, Kyle. What did I
That's
do?
not a joke.
That's not a joke. He's actually kicking Patrick
In
Clark
China.
in the Chinese Indoor Football League.
I'm gonna
And his
stop
freshman
now.
year, he was so good that we called him MVP.
MVP. That's right, Tessa. That's right.
Oh.
All right. So for Matt and Rob, this is Tim. Hopefully we'll have Kevin, and who knows, we can dream the dream, and John will be back at some point in time now that we're just hanging out and not trying to force an ESPN-ish, talkish format around a team that's just really so bad we need to get together once a week to commiserate and bare our souls. We'll see y'all next week. And Robbie, you turn off the button.
Okay. Bye, Bulls fans. I love you.